Welcome to the Remote More Cybersecurity podcast. In each episode, we explore how fast-moving teams bake security into architecture, decisions, and growth. Whether you're a CTO, security lead, or engineering manager, this is your space for clear insights, expert thinking, and actionable strategies.
All right, let's unpack this. In our increasingly interconnected world, every click, every connection opens new possibilities, but it also opens new vulnerabilities, right?
Absolutely.
We're talking about the digital frontier, specifically this ever-evolving landscape of cyber risk.
Yeah.
So today, we're taking a deep dive into something that's becoming, pretty much non-negotiable for organizations of all sizes, cyber insurance in 2025.
And what's fascinating here, really, is just how quickly this whole market is shifting.
Right.
We'll explore some surprising trends in pricing, definitely the escalating threats driving losses, and maybe most importantly, what insurers are really looking for when they size up your risk.
Exactly. Think of this as like your shortcut to understanding not just what cyber insurance covers, but why it's such a critical piece of risk management and how it's poised to protect or, expose organizations in the next few years. We've pulled insights from leading sources like Woodruff Sawyer, Munich Re, Aon, TechTarget, and cybered.io to give you the full picture.
A really solid base of information.
So what does this all mean for you as you navigate this complex digital world? Let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with maybe some good news. Because who doesn't love good news?
Always welcome.
For the past year, and looking ahead into 2025, the cyber insurance market has actually been, quite favorable for buyers. We've seen this trend of decreasing prices.
Indeed. Aon reports a pretty remarkable trend, actually 10 straight quarters of pricing decreases.
10 quarters, wow.
Yeah, culminating in a 7% decline in just Q1 2025. And this isn't just a blip. Woodruff Sawyer saw nearly two-thirds, like 66% of their clients, getting cost savings last year, especially in the second half of 2024.
That sounds almost too good to be true, though, especially with all the headlines about massive cyber attacks. What's driving this seemingly counterintuitive trend of lower prices?
Well, it's not that the risks are going down, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
It's largely due to increased insurance capacity, more players in the market, and just a more competitive environment overall.
Competition.
But, and this is key, risks are definitely not declining. Aon's data shows cyber incidents across their clients actually jumped by 22% in 2024.
22% increase.
Yeah, and reported incidents or litigation, that was up by 31%.
So, wait, more claims but lower prices. That feels like a real paradox. What's going on there?
It is a bit of a paradox.
Yeah.
But despite that higher claims frequency, the average payment per claim actually dropped.
Oh, interesting.
Dropped by a huge 77% in 2024.
77%. Why?
It seems to be largely because organizations have stronger cybersecurity controls in place now. They're more resilient.
Okay. So the defenses are working better, maybe mitigating the worst impact.
Exactly. That resilience plus stable loss ratios for the insurers themselves, that's what kept the market buyer-friendly.
I see.
And if we zoom out, the global cyber insurance market is still projected to grow massively. Munich Re forecasts it hitting $16.3 billion in 2025.
$16 billion.
And then more than doubling to $32 billion by 2030.
Right.
North America is still the biggest piece of that pie.
Right. Okay, so even with favorable pricing for now, the threat landscape is anything but calm. When underwriters are assessing risk, what are they seeing as the major loss drivers today?
Yeah, good question. Ransomware. It remains the #1 threat underwriters are focused on, according to Woodruff Sawyer's survey.
Still number one.
Still number one. However, privacy violations and data breaches, those have notably gained ground compared to last year. They're climbing the worry list.
Why those specifically becoming so critical now?
Well, let's unpack that. Let's talk scale and impact.
Yeah, give us a sense of what these threats actually look like on the ground.
Okay, so ransomware. We're seeing this relentless trend of cybercrime as a service.
Right, making it easier for criminals.
Exactly. It lowers the barrier to entry. Yeah. Sophisticated tools are just available. And the frequency, the automation, the sophisticated, especially with AI getting involved, that's only expected to go up.
AI powering attacks now.
Yeah. In 2024, ransomware attacks were up about a quarter year over year. And that's just the ones we know about. Only about 15% get made public.
Only 15%.
And what's really concerning is the data theft part, data exfiltration that nearly doubled. They're not just locking systems, they're stealing the data too.
And we've seen some huge headline-grabbing examples recently, haven't we? It really brings it home.
We have. Think about the Change Healthcare incident. A $22 million ransom paid.
Ooh.
But the total impact, expected to be around $2.4 billion.
Billion, with a B.
Yeah, or the black suit attack on CDK Global. That shut down thousands of car dealerships. Estimated losses around $1 billion there, too.
Wow.
And these really highlight that business interruption, the BI cost that's often the biggest chunk of a ransomware claim. Frequently over 50%. It's the downtime that kills you.
Right, the operational standstill. Okay, what about those other growing threats you mentioned? Online scams, data breaches.
Yeah, so online scams, things like business email compromise, BEC, and now business communication compromise, or BCC. Those surged in 2024.
BEC we hear about a lot.
Yeah, the FBI estimates global losses over the last decade from these kinds of scams are over $55 billion.
$55 billion. Staggering.
It is. And what's fascinating and scary is that generative AI is making these attacks even more dangerous.
Oh, so.
It allows for incredibly targeted, personalized, and scaled social engineering scams. They look so convincing now. It's estimated something like 500,000 people work as scammers, often in these like fraud factories in Southeast Asia.
500,000 people, that's an industry. And data breaches, still a major issue.
Oh yeah, data breaches stayed at a really high level. The average cost, according to IBM, rose 10% to an all-time high of $4.88 million in 2024.
Nearly $5 million per breach on average.
And get this, the exploitation of data leaks apparently increased eightfold in 2024, compromising about 5.5 billion accounts globally.
Billion.
Yeah. And more than a third of these breaches involve what they call shadow data.
Shadow data, what's that?
It's basically data that exists outside of proper security controls, forgotten databases, unauthorized copies, that kind of thing. Breaches involving it take longer and cost more to contain.
Makes sense. Harder to track down.
And of course, after these breaches, your personal info, your logins, they often end up for sale on the dark web, which just fuels more attacks down the line.
It's a vicious cycle. And it sounds like the digital supply chain is a huge vulnerability in all this too.
Absolutely. Supply chain vulnerabilities, they've been called the Achilles heel of our economies.
That's a strong statement.
Well, the World Economic Forum indicated 45% of organizations expect to face significant cyber attacks on their supply chains by 2025.
Almost half.
And the cost just from software supply chain attacks expected to rise from $60 billion in 2025 to maybe $138 billion by 2031.
Huge numbers.
And think about that widespread CrowdStrike outage in 2024.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Airlines, hospitals.
Financial services. It really brought home how a single point of failure in the supply chain can cause massive systemic disruption. A real wake-up call.
Definitely. Okay, so beyond these specific attack types, let's step back for a second. What are the broader, maybe macro trends influencing both cybersecurity and the insurance market moving forward?
Yeah, this is where we see technology and geopolitics really reshaping the risk landscape. Take artificial intelligence.
The double-edged sword.
Exactly. Great for efficiency and innovation for companies, right?
Sure.
But unfortunately, it also gives criminal groups powerful new tools, automating attacks, enhancing phishing, coding malware. AI helps with all phases.
So attackers are using AI too.
Oh yeah. Cyber experts are talking about a new normal, where AI challenges defenders with just unprecedented speed, scale, and sophistication. It's an arms race.
So are typical cyber policies covering these AI-driven attacks, or is that a gray area?
Generally, yes. Direct losses from an AI-driven cyber attack like AI-powered ransomware should be covered under standard policies.
Okay.
But the implications of other AI risks, things like manipulating AI models, poisoning training data, liability if an AI hallucinates and causes harm, IP infringement.
Right, those aren't really cyber attacks in the traditional sense.
Exactly. And those are often not explicitly mentioned or covered in standard insurance wordings. That's an area where new, innovative insurance products are starting to emerge to fill those gaps.
Interesting. Okay, what about geopolitical tensions? How are those spilling over into cyber?
Significantly. Geopolitical power plays, international crises, they're adding whole new dimensions to cyber threats. Nation-state cyber activity is definitely on the rise.
Targeting critical infrastructure.
Absolutely. Energy, transport, telecoms, they're key targets. Between Jan 23 and Jan 24 alone, critical infrastructure worldwide faced over 420 million attacks.
420 million.
That's a 30% increase since 2022. And they're using sophisticated methods living off the land attacks.
Using the system's own tools against it.
Right, makes them harder to detect. Plus, cyber espionage, massive DDoS attacks. It's moved beyond just a cybersecurity issue. Ransomware, severe DDoSes, these are now national and global security threats.
Wow. And related to that, what about mis and disinformation? We hear so much about it, but how does it actually impact businesses?
Well, the World Economic Forum actually flagged mis and disinformation as the greatest global risk for the immediate future.
The greatest risk.
Yeah, largely because AI can just massively amplify manipulation now, and it's definitely spreading into the corporate world.
How so? Like fake news about a company?
Exactly. Damaging reputations, manipulating stock prices, disrupting operations. Gartner actually anticipates that companies will spend over $30 billion fighting misinformation by 2028.
$30 billion just to combat fake information.
It's becoming a major operational cost and risk.
Okay, looking even further out, quantum computing. Sounds like sci-fi, but is it a real threat soon?
Quantum computing security is. Well, it's described as a silent race.
A silent race.
Yeah. The tech is still early stage, but its potential decryption power is accelerating fast.
Breaking current encryption.
That's the concern. The U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, finalized some quantum-resistant encryption algorithms back in August 2024.
So we have defenses coming?
We do.
Hmm?
And traditional encryption should hold up until at least 2030. But here's the worrying part. Attackers are reportedly stealing encrypted data now.
Stealing it now? Why?
The theory is steal now, decrypt later. They hoard the data, waiting for quantum computers to become powerful enough to break the encryption down the road.
Whoa, that's planning ahead.
It's a long game.
So with all these new emerging, frankly, scary risks, how are insurers actually adapting their policies and offerings? They must be scrambling.
They are adapting, definitely. The expanding regulatory landscape is one big driver. We're seeing new types of coverage pop up.
Like what?
Things like specific regulatory defense and penalty coverage. Also, crisis management and public relations coverage to help deal with the reputational fallout.
That makes sense. Reputational damage can be huge.
Absolutely. And even emerging protection for the Chief Information Security Officer, CISO liability protection.
Covering the individual.
Yeah, recognizing the personal risk they carry. Policies are also getting better at covering business interruption from third-party risks, acknowledging those supply chain impacts we talked about.
Right, like the CrowdStrike example.
Exactly. And some carriers are even bundling cybersecurity tools or services with the insurance now, positioning the policy as more of a backstop to an overall security partnership.
Interesting. Sort of proactive help, not just reactive payment.
Precisely.
Okay, so with all these complex risks and insurers trying to adapt, what do they really expect from organizations looking for coverage today? It can't just be about having the latest tech anymore, right?
No, absolutely not. And this is, I think, really crucial for listeners. Here's a big shift. In 2025, insurers are placing equal weight on how well your workforce is trained.
Equal weight to training as to tech.
Equal weight. Your human firewall is seen as just as critical as your digital one. Coverage decisions increasingly hinge on whether your employees can actually spot phishing, if they know the escalation procedures, if they understand their role in minimizing risk.
So that means the old way, like a single annual training video and a quick quiz that's just not going to cut it anymore.
Not even close. That's considered check-the-box compliance, and insurers see right through it now.
Okay, so what are they looking for then?
They want deeper engagement. Education that's actually aligned to different job functions, designed to build real, lasting knowledge, not just temporary awareness.
Tailored training.
Yes. Underwriters might now ask for your phishing simulation results, maybe learning completion rates broken down by department.
Wow, getting granular.
They want documentation of what you do when employees fail, tests the remediation steps. And they want to see leadership participating actively in things like tabletop exercises or incident response drills.
Leadership buy-in.
It signals a true culture of security, not just an IT department issue.
That makes a lot of sense, honestly. Human error is always cited as such a huge factor.
It is.
So beyond training, what other capabilities are insurers really scrutinizing? What are the must-haves?
Well, beyond the human element, they obviously still require solid technical controls. Key things include robust multi-factor authentication, MFA, everywhere possible.
MFA, yeah, that's table stakes now.
Pretty much. Strong endpoint security protection on all devices, laptops, phones, servers, powerful email security filters to catch threats before they reach inboxes. Reliable backup and recovery systems are absolutely critical. You need to be able to bounce back quickly if the worst happens.
Testing those backups regularly, I assume?
Oh yes, testing is key. And having proactive vulnerability management programs finding and fixing weaknesses before the attackers exploit them.
Constantly patching and scanning.
Exactly. They'll also look at your alignment with recognized standards, like the NIST Cybersecurity Framework or ISO 27001. Having a tested incident response plan is basically a baseline requirement now.
It sounds like investing in cyber readiness isn't just about preventing attacks, it's also about getting insured.
It absolutely is. It strengthens your resilience, which lowers the risk for the insurer, making you a much more attractive prospect. It benefits everyone.
Okay. We've covered a ton of ground market trends, the scary threat landscape, what insurers are looking for. But you mentioned earlier that market growth, despite that, there's still this significant protection gap, right?
Yes, that's a really important point.
So what does that actually mean? If the market's growing, prices are kind of favorable, why is there still a gap?
Oh, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If premiums are generally stable or declining for many, why are so many cyber risks still uninsured?
Yeah.
The reality is, while maybe 80% of large corporations in the U.S. have some form of cyber insurance,
Okay, that's high.
it is. But that number plummets, absolutely plummets, to maybe just 10% among small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs.
Only 10% of smaller businesses.
Roughly. And that vast majority of uninsured cyber risk, it's a threat not just to those individual businesses, but really to the whole economy, to society. SMEs are a huge part of the ecosystem.
So what's the path forward then? How do we close that gap and make everyone more resilient?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the insurance industry is really focusing hard on developing more sophisticated risk modeling. Better data, better tech for risk selection.
Getting smarter about underwriting.
Exactly. And organizations themselves are being encouraged to use decision analytics, really model their total cyber risk exposure.
Understand what they're facing.
Yeah, so they can optimize their insurance program relative to the risk they decide to keep themselves their unhedged loss potential.
Making informed decisions about risk transfer.
Precisely. Munich Re emphasizes that closing this gap needs a mix of things. Deep expertise from different fields, much more and better data on risk trends, continuous improvements in underwriting and modeling, and really clear definitions of security standards that insureds need to meet.
So a collaborative effort between insurers, businesses, and maybe even regulators.
Absolutely. It has to be.
Wow. What a deep dive, truly, into the state of cyber insurance in 2025.
Yeah.
We've seen this market that's, surprisingly buyer-friendly on price right now.
Yeah, deceptively so, perhaps.
Right. Yet facing this incredibly complex and, frankly, escalating array of threats. AI-driven ransomware, nation-state attacks, those critical supply chain vulnerabilities. It's crystal clear that cyber insurance isn't just some checkbox item anymore. It's a dynamic, essential part of any serious risk management strategy.
It really underscores that, in today's digital world, protecting your organization goes way beyond just the technology.
Yeah.
It demands that holistic approach.
Yeah.
Strong tech controls, yes, but also solid incident response plans. And crucially, that well-trained, aware workforce we talked about. Everyone understanding their role.
That human element, again.
That signal of intentionality, of continuous improvement, it carries more weight than ever with insurers looking at your risk profile.
Okay, so given everything we've discussed, the average cost of a data breach hitting nearly $5 million last year, the human element being such a critical factor, here's a final